Welcome to another video, guys. In this one, I want to talk about 5 scenarios when it makes sense to buy miles, and also the 3 best loyalty programs to buy miles from. Hey guys, my name is Rami and welcome to Points Pointers. My goal for this channel is to help you earn and redeem as many points as possible to upgrade your travels for little to no money. So if you're interested in travel hacking and award travel, then please consider subscribing. You can also download my free 10-step travel hacking guide in the description below. For the longest time, I thought that the only way you can earn a lot of miles is by flying a lot or putting a ton of spend on credit cards. But then when I started this whole hobby of earning a ton of miles and points, other than learning about signing up for multiple credit cards to earn the sign-up bonuses on them, I also came across many promotions where airlines and hotels sell points at a deep discount. It turns out that selling miles is a huge business for loyalty programs of these hotels and airlines. From their perspective, they turn huge profits from selling millions of miles to customers who then redeem those miles for a value lower than what they bought it for. And that's absolutely unacceptable here at Points Pointers. I'm all about maximizing the value of points and travel experiences, and I do my best to teach you the same. The whole idea here is you should only be buying miles where you can obtain the same or higher value when redeeming them. So when does it make sense to buy miles? Let's go over some scenarios. The first one is buying miles speculatively. I generally don't recommend this, but if you don't have any travel planned or have an immediate use of these miles, but they're deeply discounted through a limited time promotion, then you might want to buy some miles to increase your balance. The reason I almost always advise against this is that loyalty programs regularly devalue. That could happen by announcing an official increase in award rates, or making changes to the way they release award availability, or by changing up their routing rules. These potential changes generally mean that the miles might be worth less tomorrow than they were today. Some programs even do this without notice to their members. Like we saw a couple of years ago, where Alaska Miles doubled the required number of miles to redeem on Emirates Airlines literally overnight. It was devastating. This is not usually the case though. Most of the time, airlines will give a few months notice when a devaluation is about to happen, which will then give you an opportunity to use your miles at a higher value before the devaluation is implemented. The second scenario where buying miles that makes sense is to top off your account for a specific redemption. Let's say you're working your way to earn 150,000 Alaska Airline miles to fly one way in Emirates first class from New York to Dubai. And after all the points you earned from the Alaska Airlines credit cards and all the points you transferred over from Marriott Bonvoy, you have 145,000 miles. And while you're doing your regular search for availability, you find a seat opened up on your preferred travel date. This is a situation where I definitely recommend buying the 5,000 miles in order to pull the trigger on this redemption. Yes, you might have the credit cards that earn you those miles, and you even have $5,000 purchase that you were going to make anyway and put it on the Alaska Airlines credit card to reach the needed 150,000 miles. The only problem is that by the time your statement closes and the miles post, that rare available first class award seat might disappear, and in turn you end up losing out on such an amazing redemption. So yeah, this is a situation where it makes total sense to buy miles in order to secure an immediate redemption. The third case where it might make sense for you to buy miles is with mileage program that you don't normally earn miles with. Let's say you're a total Delta loyal flyer. You fly them all the time for work. You have the Delta Amex Gold, the Delta Amex Platinum, and even the Delta Amex Reserve credit cards, and have 2 million Delta Sky Miles in your account. But then you're looking to fly to Dubai on Emirates first class or business class, and there's no way for you to use your 2 million Delta Sky Miles to book a flight on Emirates Airlines. On the other hand, you see that Alaska Airlines frequently runs promotions on buying Alaska Miles, sometimes offering 30, 40, and even 50% bonus miles. You look into their award charts and airline partners and find that they do partner with Emirates Airlines, and you'd need 82,500 miles to fly one way in business class or 150,000 miles to fly one way in first. And after you crunch the numbers, you find out that buying Alaska miles at a discount to redeem for a bucket list product is not a bad deal for you. So you basically start with 0 Alaska airline miles, and you've never flown in Alaska before, you never had the Alaska Miles credit cards, but now buying their miles is the only way you'd be able to experience Emirates Airlines, which brings me to my next case of when it makes sense to buy miles. And that is when it's cheaper than buying a revenue fare. Now, I thought this only works for business and first class flights, but it can actually work for economy too. I found this out while researching this topic for this video. For example, let's say you're looking to fly round trip from Boston to Beijing and your preference is a non-stop flight. Well, lucky for you, Hainan Airlines flies that route non-stop on their nice Dreamliner Boeing 787. Very comfortable plane and very quiet. Now, when I search for random dates on Google Flights and set my preference for non-stop flights, I see that round trip in economy costs $1,557. Not terrible. You can definitely find better rates, but this is what is available now non-stop. Anything else will require a stop, and you really don't want to do that. As you already know, Hainan is partners with Alaska Airlines and generally has good award availability. And it also happens to be that Alaska is running a promotion where you receive up to 50% bonus miles when you purchase 40,000 or more miles. Now, Alaska charges 30,000 miles each way for flights on Hainan from the US to Asia. So round trip, that's 60,000 miles, which with the current promotion will cost you $1,182. However, the taxes on this round trip ticket are $305, which means that the total out of pocket is $1,487, only $70 cheaper than the cash award. This is not significant savings and may not be worth it since you'll have to find award availability and you also won't earn miles from flying. But this might be a great deal for business class. If we look at the same flight in business class, it would cost you $4,327 for a paid fare. But Alaska charges 50,000 miles each way for business class on Hainan Airlines from the US to Asia, so the total miles needed is 100,000 miles. Now keep in mind that you can only buy 60,000 Alaska miles per transaction. So with 50% bonus, you can get 90,000 miles for $1,773. Then you can go back and buy an additional 10,000 miles for $295, making the total $2,473, including the $405 in taxes and fees. Now that's significant savings if you are someone who generally buys business class tickets anyway. And also it may not be a bad deal if you're looking to splurge on a special trip or something like that. So this is just one example. I know I talk about Cathay Pacific first class a lot here on the channel, but you can basically do that with Cathay Pacific also, even if for just one way. A one-way first class flight from Hong Kong to New York on Cathay Pacific first class can easily cost well over $18,000. Instead, you can buy 70,000 Alaska miles for less than $1,400 to book the same trip. Now that's significant. Let's talk about the fifth and final case where it makes sense to buy miles, to stop your miles from expiring. Something you should know is that a lot of these airline miles and hotel points actually expire. Different loyalty programs have different policies, but some expire when there's no activity after 18 months, or 2 years, or 3 years, and so on. Generally, you can keep your miles from expiring by performing a qualified activity. That can be flying with that airline, redeeming miles, using a co-branded credit card, or buying miles. So if you don't have the means to do any other qualifying activity before your miles expire, I recommend buying the least amount of miles possible to keep your account active. So let's say you have 100,000 miles somewhere and they're going to expire in a few weeks. It'll definitely make sense to buy 1,000 miles even at full price to prevent your miles from expiring. Now let's talk about the 3 best loyalty programs for buying miles. The first one would be Alaska Airline Miles. With frequent promotions of 40% and 50% bonus miles, you can buy miles at a value of 1.97 to 2.11 cents per mile. That's pretty solid. Now, like I said before, you can buy 60,000 miles per transaction, and that's before the bonus miles. You're also limited to buying 150,000 miles per calendar year. If you're an Alaska Elite flyer though, you have no limit. This program is great because of their amazing award chart. Some examples of the best uses of the program is Fiji Airways business class from the US to Australia or New Zealand for 55,000 miles, Hainan business class from the US to Asia for 50,000 miles, or Cathay Pacific first class from the US to Asia for 70,000 miles. The second loyalty program that's good for buying miles is American Airlines aadvantage. During a promotion, American typically charges anywhere between 1.72 and 2.13 cents per mile. And like Alaska, there's a cap of purchasing 150,000 aadvantage miles per account per calendar year. Also, you have to have had your account open for at least 30 days in order to be eligible to buy miles. So sign up as soon as you can just to be prepared to buy miles if the opportunity comes up. aadvantage miles are best used on partners like Qatar Airways and Etihad Airlines. You'll need 70,000 or 115,000 for business and first class redemptions between the US and the Middle East or India, which is not that bad. The last program is Avianca LifeMiles. This program is great for redemptions on Star Alliance Airlines. You can buy Avianca LifeMiles for as little as 1.5 cents per mile, and the reward chart for travel between the US and Asia or Europe is very, very reasonable. US to Europe in business class costs 63,000 miles, US to Europe in first class costs 87,000 miles, US to North Asia in first class costs 90,000 miles. What makes this program interesting is that they allow one-ways and don't have carrier-imposed surcharges. So bottom line, buying airline miles can make total sense in certain situations and can provide great value, especially when looking to redeem miles for maximum value in a premium cabin. One thing to always keep in mind is to always make sure you check for award availability before you actually purchase the miles. What's also great is that miles purchased generally post to your account instantly, so once you find the availability, buy the miles and then book right away. Let me know in the comments if you've bought miles before, why did you buy them, or if this video made you consider buying miles in the future. Thank you guys for watching. If this is your first time here, I would love to have you subscribe because every week I'm publishing videos that help you earn a ton of credit card points and frequent flyer miles that will enable you to travel the world for little to no money.